Hey guys, it's Heather from Here She Grows, and today I'm harvesting garlic. It's 4th of July weekend and it's prime garlic harvesting time. Now, garlic is probably our longest plant in the garden from the time we plant it to the time we harvest it. And I planted this around Halloween last year. So we're 4th of July weekend and things are looking like it's prime time to harvest garlic. But it's very difficult to know when to harvest because the bulb is developing underground. So how do we know? So a really good way to know is when you harvest those scapes. So I harvest the scapes about 4 weeks ago, and usually within that 4 to 6 week window after harvesting, that's when your garlic is going to probably be pretty ready for harvest. So I like to get in there and dig a few. So let's do that first and just kind of test a few and see what they look like. So these are looking pretty good. This is a variety I grow every year. It's called music garlic. It's a hardneck variety. People in warmer climates can grow the softneck varieties, but hardneck, I love the flavor. It stores really well and it gets really nice and big. So this is looking pretty good. The thing that will make this not storable for me is I made the mistake. I got too close when I harvested it, so I cut off the edge here. So this is something I'm going to eat right away. I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to cook with this probably tonight. So a good rule of thumb when you're gauging when to harvest your garlic is in the foliage. So you want to harvest when about 50% of the foliage has died back. And I've got 4 leaves that have died back. They die back from the bottom down, and then I've got 4 leaves that are left. So that's about 50%. It is 50%. So that's telling me my garlic is ready. Typically, I like to let the soil dry out for about a week before I harvest. It's easier for me to harvest and they come out cleaner. We got a lot of rain lately. The leaves are dying back fast, and so I want to get in here and harvest this, and I'll just let it dry out in a cool, dark place once everything's out. And your leaves tell you, the number of leaves tell you how many layers of skin are around your garlic bulb. So I've got, let's see, 8 leaves, so I should have 8 layers of skin on this. If all of this dies back, the layers of skin around the bulb will just disintegrate, and then the bulb gets older, the cloves will start separating, and you're not going to be able to store this stuff. And the goal is to be able to store this so that I have plenty to take me through fall and winter and into part of spring, which was what I had last year. And then I won't be without garlic. I think I ran out of garlic back in maybe about a month ago. So I planted a little more this year to help carry me through the cold months. So those are your things you want to think about. When you harvest the scapes, and about 4 to 6 weeks after you harvest those scapes is typically the time that the bulb will be ready to harvest. Also, how your foliage looks. When 50% of the foliage dies back, probably a good time to harvest. And you can always do a test on it and dig up a few bulbs just to see what they look like. If they're too small, you don't have to lift it all the way out. But if they're too small, you can just kind of leave them there and let them do their thing and check them again maybe in another week or 2. The goal is not to let all of it die back though for these hardneck garlic. So let's get after it and see how much garlic we can get out of here.
With you, everything's moving slower. I don't know what it is you do. I've been looking at you all night, trying to figure you out. I just wanna make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good tonight. I wanna kiss you.
So I wanted to show you what garlic looks like when it's been in the ground too long and you've let all of the leaves shrivel down. What happens is, and this is a really good example actually, so you can see, slow this down here, this is completely withered out, it's browned out, and the cloves have been more defined. You don't see as much, let me see if I can clean some of this off. The cloves are not, you can tell they don't have a lot of papery skin on them. You can see the indentations really well. And so I've waited too long for this, which means I can eat this right now. This is not gonna store well. So what you want is a plant that is partially green yet. Half the leaves are green, half are brown. This one, unfortunately, I hit with my shovel as well, so I am gonna eat this right away. We eat a lot of garlic. So this one, you can eat, and the nice thing about garlic is you can eat it right after harvest if you want to, or you can cure it long term. And so I'm gonna cure most of this. I did nick a few of the garlic bulbs, and those will eat sooner than later. So for the ones I want to cure, I'm going to take, not this one, but my big pile of the other ones that I harvested that are all healthy. I'm going to take those into the garage and lay them out. You don't want to store them in the sun. They will rot. You definitely don't want to rinse them off before you lay them out, because adding more moisture can introduce more fungal issues, and then they may not keep long term for you. And the beauty of curing it is you might have enough garlic to carry you through all the cold months and even into spring and early summer of the following year. And that's what I've had great luck with, is I'm harvesting at the right time. The other thing to keep in mind, like I noticed a difference between the bulbs I harvested last year and their size compared to the bulbs I've harvested this year. When soil reaches about a temperature of 90 degrees, the garlic matures quicker. And when it matures faster, the bulbs are smaller. So this year my garlic heads are much smaller than last year. Last year they were huge, and I think I harvested a week later last year. So it is an excuse me, it is an earlier harvest, and I'm getting a smaller bulb, but they're going to be so tasty. So let's go lay them out and get them ready for storage. So all that's left to do now is cure it, and it takes about 2 weeks. So the best way to know when it's ready, it's cured, all of this will brown out and the leaves will dry out and they'll get kind of crispy. The soil that's on the bottom of it, get as much off as you can. Don't worry about rinsing it off. It will fall away. So I am just going to lay these out, and I don't want to overlap them because I want good airflow so that I don't get any rot in here, because the soil on the bottom of these is still a little damp. So just going to make sure the spacing is good and we've got enough airflow. And man, you guys, I reek of garlic. So this whole garage is going to smell of garlic for the next couple weeks as these cure. So let's get after it.
Come a little closer, I wanna dance with you. Everything's moving slower, I don't know what it is you do. I've been looking at you all night.
So you want to avoid having them all sit on top of each other, because you want to make sure they've got good airflow. And what I like to do is sort of balance them between some of the green stalks so that they're kind of off the drying surface, so that there's airflow all the way around your garlic bulb. So as I was laying these out, I realized I sliced into another one, so that's not going to cure, which means we're going to be eating this really soon, and I'm going to need a whole lot of gum because we are going to have massive garlic breath. But if you're interested in how to grow garlic, where to get started, you can check out, I wrote all about it on the blog. Particularly for cold climate growers. So you want to make sure you're picking out varieties that are hardneck varieties. Like I said, this is music. There are so many different varieties, guys, and they're really fun to experiment with. Some are spicy, some are more mild, some are bigger, some are smaller, some are more colorful. And it's really fun to just experiment and see what you like. But music is a really good one to grow. I like the flavor that it gives all of my cooking. So do check out the blog, hereshegrows.com. I'll also have the link below so you can check that out in the caption. And I'll update you probably in about 2 weeks. These things should be completely dried up and ready for storage. So I'll see you in the next one, guys, and thanks for watching. Happy gardening.